I love playing all sorts of video games. A lot of multiplayer games too, which require other players for the core functionality to exist. But what happens when you take that feature away? It's just you, alone on a server, surrounded by absolutely nothing but the ambience of the environment. You may have had this experience before when booting up a Halo map on Forge or a map on Gary's mod to try out a new add-on or just to piss about. Okay. So what? You're lonely on a server with no players. You suddenly see what you believe to be a figure from the corner of your eye. That feeling of loneliness suddenly turns into paranoia. You swear you just saw something but can't really make out what it was. Perhaps it's just your head playing tricks with you. That's it. Now throw this feeling into liminal spaces, an eerie and forlorn place that feels surreal. Most of the internet applies the idea to the back rooms that can be accessed by no clipping out of reality and ending up in these strange sequence of rooms that have extremely eerie settings, a place that is devoid from the laws of reality and has multiple floors, with each floor having some sort of entity that you just cannot prepare yourself for. The environment alone grants a sense of paranoia, exactly like the lonely servers that I mentioned earlier. You feel as if something is there, and the worst part is the dread of anticipation. That passage of time where you're just waiting for this instance of the creature is honestly one of the scariest feelings someone can experience, as the fear of the unknown can draw multiple, terrible scenarios within our brain with no rational thought. And no other game expresses this feeling than No Players Online, a PS1 style horror game with a rather self-explanatory title. So let's look into how this game takes advantage of what we've been talking about. Booting up the game immediately throws a VHS tape right at your desktop, enticing you to click on it. It's like getting the urge to play a game that you've been craving. I mean, I get that with Minecraft. I ignore the game for about 6 months and then come back to play it for about 2 weeks and then forget about it again. Clicking on the tape now takes us to an old VHS style monitor. We can select the lobby we want to play on. The layout of this is extremely nostalgic and reminds me of the Half-Life 2 Deathmatch client, which you should definitely check out. I just made a video on it. We can essentially play on any server we like. However, none of them have any players on them. It's just you. It's also worth noting that every single game mode here is just capture the flag. You know, run to the enemy base, grab their flag and bring it back before getting dogpiled. We're thrown into the map with a gun. Right off the bat, there's just something so nostalgic about this setting. I can't put my finger on where I've seen it, but the devs did an amazing job of capturing that feeling. This further puts emphasis on the game taking advantage of liminality. The setting of the game is so eerie and perfectly captures that alone on a map feeling as the ambience drowns out the silence. We've got a score of 3 to achieve to complete the game, so we do so. Taking the first flag, the radio within the map starts playing, which caught me off guard during my first playthrough. Just who turned on this vinyl player? You can shoot the record player to switch it off. Delivering the first flag, the gates open on both sides of the map, but it's still out of bounds. Even though they're open, there's no way you can walk through them. We now move on to get the second flag, but the other side of the map looks a little off. There's a red tint near the enemy flag. Going towards that red tint, you're met with your second anomaly. Taking the enemy flag, it seems somebody else has joined the server, but we can't see them. Those instances of seeing something from the corner of your eye are on full display here, and it's done perfectly. It happens so quick, making you question if what you saw was just a figment of your imagination or not. This is immediately answered after catching the second flag. We encounter the entity face to face. Getting the third flag on the enemy's side and making it halfway through, this same entity stops us in our tracks, forces us to turn around and approaches us. This entire ghost in the machine metaphor is done perfectly, as the entity recognizes our existence and tries its best to get close to us. It is here where the game tries to explain this entity that has joined our game, as John_dev joins the server. Stop what you're doing! Do not move another step. Whatever you do, do not deliver that flag. How did you even get access to this game? Can you hear me? If you can read this, press Y to chat and say something. Wait, never mind. I don't think you have chat permission on this server. Just shoot twice if you can read this. Okay, so you can read this. So let me explain. If you deliver that last flag, the servers will shut down. I absolutely cannot let that happen. I've been working on this project for more than 11 years. I can't let you jeopardize all of my work. This may look like a simple FPS game to you, but this game has the power to raise the dead. At least, that's what it's supposed to do. It's still a work in progress, you can probably tell. I'm making this so I can see my wife again. But she seems to be stuck in a sort of limbo. You probably already met her. She might come over a bit aggressive, but she's just scared and confused. Can you blame her? You destroyed the record player with her favorite music. I used that music to keep her calm. If you deliver that last flag, her soul will be set free. But I know I can save her and bring her back. Please, press escape and shut down the game. Please. We now have two choices. Either follow John's orders and leave the game, or deliver the flag. Personally, leaving the game just doesn't feel morally correct. If we do this, the wife will forever be stuck in limbo in this game. Maybe she wants out, so I went with the latter. The screen gets brighter and brighter the closer you are to delivering that flag, and the server crashes the moment you deliver the flag and you are kicked. And that's it. Bro really made his wife a zip file. Nah, but seriously, I feel as if this sci-fi reveal somewhat kills the tension of the fear of the unknown, and a lot of people seem to agree. Rather than being told this outright, we could have had a cool Easter egg for us to unravel. Exposition for outlandish things always sucks. I mean, how do you think Five Nights at Freddy's has been going on for this long? The success of the game comes from the community that unravels the lore from the games. New revelations are always being found, and that's what I think No Players Online could have done to keep the mystery of the entity on the server. But this isn't all that comes with the game. The game dives a lot deeper once you reset the client with the Konami code and enter the server again, repeating the process. Once again, John joins the game, and the dialogue's changed, with John questioning why you're back. Looking up at the sky, we see an eye, which when shot immediately flips to a video of somebody drawing on paper with a pencil. Within the itch.io page of this game, there's a downloadable file labeled 100%_save_file.sav. Hidden under this harmless 100% file is an image showing a photo of a street lamp. Due to the consequences of us shooting this eye, a file named eye can now be accessed in the game's folder, and what do you know? it's the origin of where this image of the lamp came from. This sequence has us walking down an empty path. It seems we have some sort of leash or fishing rod in our hand. I can't tell because it's so low poly. We get a cut to a more cryptic message after walking on this dock and staring out into the sea. A tape recorder falls into our presence the moment the screen turns red, and we're presented with messages over a video of what seems to be cars passing down the road at night. And that's where it ends. Now we have to boot up the game again. So this song was actually written in the late 30s. The meaning behind the song has our protagonist expressing his love for his partner with a song. He compares it to a prelude that leads up to a kiss. He acknowledges that the song is simple, but represents the endless love he has for his partner. This information can certainly be tied back to John Dev talking about his deceased wife. Now here's where things get more interesting. On the server screen, typing the word haunt will take you to the sound test menu. This sound test claims to have 1,389 separate sounds. The game asks for a 5-digit code. Entering any string of numbers will seemingly play a sound at random. However, entering the number 25467 will play a loud scream effect and give you the message removed mesh #345 collision. Following this removal, the hole on the map's center is now accessible. Falling into this, you'll be spawned in a new area. It's dark, grimy, with messages written all over the walls and floor. There's a screen of a code with an eye flickering and a large blue tube in the center with a flag connected to the keypad and a monitor telling you to enter a 6-digit code to confirm the removal of the file srh.cs. The Discord user crackhorse #5896 spent many hours searching through the game's files before discovering a file titled Level 7, you have to go through this file on Notepad until you reach the message, "Please merge with vessel to begin soul transfer." You find the code 191421 by scrolling a bit further down. Entering this code in the keypad, the flag containing tube will now be open. If you enter it, you'll be sent to the server displays. All servers are currently filled, and the credits will roll after you choose a server. This is the true ending of the game, as I believe that the players sacrificed their existence as a vessel to become this haunted spirit to replace the wife of the developer. It's a pretty eerie ending and can bring a lot of questions. Regardless, I believe that no players online has perfectly captured the internet's fascination with empty liminal spaces and amps it up with the horror factor of having a ghost in the machine. As mentioned prior, I think leaving the entity's identity would have been so much more intense with each encounter, but I guess the game is made to be more of a one-trip experience. There's not really any replayability aspects, but for the people who are curious to crack the code. Thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, why not subscribe? I'll see you guys in the next one.